Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. In the beginning, there was one law. God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. So tune in to Talk Law Radio every Saturday and Sunday afternoon on podcasts, Facebook, or YouTube. If you want to subscribe to YouTube, go to YouTube, click the magnifying glass, search for Talk Law Radio, and look for the Lady Justice logo in the red, white, and blue colors. This is the Sinners and Saints segment.
I'm nervous.
So, you know that I like the Sinners and Saints segment because Martin Luther, the famous theologian that nailed his 95 Thesis to the church door, said that we're all sinners and saints. We were born sinners, but because of Jesus' sacrifice and resurrection, we're absolved. And so I like to talk about somebody that's done something bad or somebody that's done something good. And so today, I want to ask you about Kendall Brown's TMZ interview. She's criticizing President Trump for striking Iran.
Oh.
And the reason it's relevant to the show is because she's a military spouse.
I see. I think I saw this.
And so I wanted to ask you, should she be speaking for her husband? I saw the video. She said, my husband is upset about President Trump striking Iran.
No, that's crazy. I think that us as military spouses, we're supposed to be next to our service member and support them no matter what decision or no matter what they're going through. And it's okay to have your own opinion. It is okay to have your own opinion. However, I think going on TMZ was just a little bit too crazy.
Yeah, and so would he get in trouble for that?
I have no idea. You know what? That's a really good question to ask my husband. That's a really good question. I think that he would, only because his wife is speaking on things that he's doing. And I've heard throughout the military spouse just grapevine that it could be a violation at OPSEC.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that next. Are there military rules or guidelines that restrict a spouse speaking out?
I mean, you can definitely not. I mean, you can't speak negatively about you can, but it's very frowned upon. Speak negatively on your spouse and what they're doing, or just speak on what they're doing in general if they are doing something that no one is really supposed to know.
Yeah.
Because it could be a violation of OPSEC.
OPSEC stands for Operational Security.
Yes.
And I learned through Google, tell me if this is right or if you've heard of it, or if you're listening right now, call 210-308-8867 and join our conversation. 210-308-8867. 5-step OPSEC process. Identify critical information, determine what needs protection, analyze threats, identify potential adversaries and their capabilities, analyze vulnerabilities, find weak points in security, assess risk, evaluate the likelihood of exploitation, and apply countermeasures, implement measures to protect information.
Yeah, so basically just protecting that service member's information, because you don't really know who is listening, especially with the things that are going on right now. Just saying that your service member is deployed anywhere in the Middle East or just anywhere in general could be a violation, because that service member is there.
Right, and then they could be in jeopardy, you could be in jeopardy, the mission could be in jeopardy.
Exactly.
Here's another surprise question.
Okay.
What is the mood of spouses about the war in Iran? And if you don't want to answer that, what is the mood of spouses when, like, a whole group from one base gets deployed all at the same time? Does that bring you together as spouses Do you call each other, or are there group meetings?
You know what? One of the biggest things when it comes to our service members being deployed just anywhere, doesn't have to be the conflict that's going on, is just being there for each other. Some of us are there for each other, and some of us aren't necessarily there for each other because we prefer isolation. Some of us do. But in relation to what's going on overseas, one of the worst things that you can ask a military spouse is, have you seen the news?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the news? Is your spouse okay? Are they coming back? When are they coming back? That's just adding negative stress onto the military spouse, per se, along with the family, of course.
I'm sure that's really important. So if you're watching right now, take notes about that. So if they want to be supportive, if you're a family or a friend, what should they say to help support you in that time of uncertainty and loneliness?
Honestly, just be there. Don't bring up any negativity surrounding the deployment or the fact that the service member just isn't present. Just be there, buy them their favorite snacks, babysit, or just go on solo dates, take them out, go to brunch. Just do something that they specifically like. That way they feel like they're being seen, heard, and understood. That's a really big thing. When it comes to family, sometimes family doesn't understand where we stand when it comes to how we feel. And so they try to be there in ways that don't necessarily are really that great, such as, have you heard the news?
Right.
And have you talked to them, or whatever the case may be. But realistically, the best thing that you can do is just sometimes sit with them.
Yeah.
And acknowledge their presence.
That's really important advice. It made me think of your spouse and your podcasting, and is he supportive of this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That man is my best friend. Oh, my God. He supports me throughout absolutely everything that I do. If I decided that I wanted to wear a paper bag over my head for the rest of my life, he'd be like, go ahead, girl. You got this.
Does he watch the episodes?
He does. He does. Or at least the clips on TikTok, because he's usually home when I'm recording them.
Okay.
So
How fun.
Yeah, he actually he's not really into social media that much, but whenever I first started doing Base Buddies, he was the first one to make a TikTok. He made a TikTok, and I'm his only follower. He's like, I'll be your first follower.
Okay, I want to talk about some hidden legal issue blind spots before we run out of time. So what are some legal issue blind spots that you see that a lot of spouses go through?
Yeah, so honestly, sometimes it might not even be labeled as legal blind spots, but situations such as like breaking leases or navigating benefits or dealing with paperwork such as POAs during deployments can always be stressful and could always be confusing, I would say. So I'm not a legal expert, but I have experience with trying to break a lease, and the military spouse clause or military service member clause, to where if you're a service member, you can break your lease
without paying fines and penalties.
That clause wasn't really acknowledged. Along with power of attorneys, when my spouse was deployed, I got, instead of a special attorney, special power of attorney, I got a general power of attorney, and that wasn't really necessarily acknowledged. So more of so just knowing how to use these legal documents,
right,
instead of just, hey, figure it out.
Does the JAG office help with that?
In a sense. In my personal experience, I don't necessarily want to talk on anybody else's experience, but on my personal experience, it's more of so like, here you go, figure it out.
Okay. Another legal issue blind spot that spouses face, you were telling me, is when they move with the service member to another state or even in another country, if they have a specialized license or certificate that gives them the right to practice medicine or law or teaching or nursing, and they move to another jurisdiction, sometimes they have to start all over.
Yeah, so that's actually really important. I'm so glad that you brought that up. I've known so many military spouses who have been stationed where I was stationed, and they had to get part-time jobs. And when I got to talk to them or got to know them, I just found out that they were an attorney, or they were a nurse, or they were highly educated individuals who basically gave up their career for love. And I think that there should be something legally that protects highly educated military spouses that have those licenses all over the country, to basically just let them keep it and have that career on hand for them wherever they go.
Right. And the town or the jurisdiction that they're moving to is missing out on having another professional in the area to serve the people.
Exactly.
So changing the law or the regulation in the states, maybe Congress could do something to give an exemption or a nationwide license to somebody who's a spouse of a military veteran. We're talking with Ley Wright. She runs a podcast and community for military spouses. You can find her at base-buddies.com. You can also find her on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Look, also YouTube.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube and subscribe. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.